Hello, everyone. My name is Zulfiqar, and welcome to another episode of Income Investors. With me today is John Whitefoot with another exciting income pick. If you want to read more about what John writes on a regular basis, you can head to incomeinvestors.com, or you can find the link to the website in the description below. If you are optimistic about America's economic future, then you can't ignore the driving force behind it: the private, small, and mid-sized businesses. You see, these businesses are the real powerhouses of the US economy. These companies aren't flashy, but they do employ millions of people and generate billions of dollars in revenue. They provide contracting services, build software, are involved in transportation, medical supplies, the kind of businesses that make the economy tick. And now, here's the problem. A lot of these small and medium-sized businesses aren't traded on the stock market. So, how does one get exposure to them as an investor? For this, enter business development companies, or BDCs for short. And there's one BDC that's really worth looking into for robust income. It's called Blu Owl Capital Corp. They're traded on New York Stock Exchange under symbol OBDC. OBDC stock has a double-digit dividend yield. This BDC, which lends to hundreds of middle market US businesses, could potentially be one of the smartest way to bet on America's powerhouse. John, what can you tell us about this BDC?
Yeah, thanks, Mo. Blue Owl is, as you noted, a BDC. Provides direct lending and fund-to-fund investments to U.S.-based middle and upper middle market companies. Primarily invests in senior secured, mezzanine, and unsecured loans, along with related securities like warrants and preferred stocks. Now, as a side note, at Income Investors, we refer to BDCs as alternative banks for obvious reasons. Now, this BDC lends to businesses with $10 million to $250 million in EBITDA, or $50 million to $2.5 billion in annual revenue. Now, it makes investments between $20 million to $250 million, typically with maturities of 3 years to 10 years. Now, as of March 31st, 2025, which is the most recent data, Blu Owl Capital has a portfolio size of $17.7 billion, 236 portfolio companies. Now, 82% of the portfolio consists of senior secure investments, and 97% of all investments have a floating rate. Now, as a little background, in early 2025, OBDC merged with Blu Owl Capital Corporation 3, recently making it the second largest externally managed BDC in the US. Its total assets jumped to over $18 billion.
Now, John, let me ask this. Is OBDC stock inflation proof?
You could definitely call OBDC stock inflation proof. Remember, 97% of Blu Owl Capital's debt investments are floating rate. In simple terms, it means that when interest rates go up, income at the company goes up. Do you remember the sell-off, for example, in the tech sector back in 2022 and 2023, while higher inflation and higher rates were spooking investors away from tech stocks? Blu Owl Capital was increasing its net investment income quarter after quarter. Now, this alternative bank didn't just survive the Fed's tightening cycle, it's been thriving in it. Now, the financial world is getting ready for so-called higher for longer interest rates, which could be a tailwind actually for Blu Owl Capital. Now, on the flip side, if the Federal Reserve starts cutting rates, say due to a slowing U.S. economy or some shock in the financial world, don't forget that well over 80% of loans given by this BDC are senior secured. Now, essentially, if something goes wrong, Blu Owl Capital is hedged by collateral.
If you like what you see so far, check out incomeinvestors.com. While you're there, you could also sign up for a free special report titled 3 Income Stocks to Own Today. One of those stocks currently has a dividend yield of 12.7%. You can find the link to incomeinvestors.com in the description below. And now back to the video. And John, with OBDC stock, shareholders are on the receiving end of a very generous dividend.
Absolutely. As of this recording, OBDC stock has a dividend yield of around 11%. The BDC pays a base dividend of 37 cents per share per quarter, with a supplemental dividend that changes based on its net investment income. In the most recent quarter, Blu Owl Capital declared a supplemental dividend of 1 cent per share, and that brings up the quarterly payout to 38 cents per share. Now, in the first quarter of 2025, this total dividend was 42 cents per share. Now, if Blu Owl Capital's dividend were even just 38 cents per share for the last 2 quarters of 2025, this would mean total dividends were 56 cents per share. Now, this is, of course, a pretty rock solid dividend. And here's the kicker. OBDC's dividend is fully covered by the company's net investment income. In the first quarter of 2025, Blu Owl Capital reported net investment income of 41 cents per share. That's more than enough to fund the regular and supplemental payouts.
John, thank you so much for your insights. With a well-covered 10.9% dividend yield, a diversified portfolio focused on an engine of the U.S. economy, and a shareholder-friendly structure, OBDC Stock stands out. This alternative bank is thriving and giving investors a chance to invest in companies that are typical, out of reach of everyday investors, meaning they're not typically publicly traded. Blu Owl Capital is also loved by institutional holders. Close to 48% of all outstanding shares are owned by institutional investors. The State of New Jersey Common Pension Fund, California State Teachers Retirement System, and Oregon Public Employees Retirement Fund are three of the biggest holders of OBDC stock. Combined, they own 55.3 million shares. That's it for today, and make sure to go to incomeinvestors.com now to get our free special report on 3 income stocks to own today. One of those stocks currently has a dividend yield of 12.7%. You can find the link to incomeinvestors.com in the description below. We'll be back with more income picks soon, so stay tuned, and in the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye for now.